got to start with the man of the night's debut, James Harden, the Philadelphia 76ers. He made his debut against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll start early in the third quarter. James Harden drives, drops it off to Joel Embiid. Nice little finish there. Embiid and Harden connect for the basket. And look, afterwards, Joel puts it up, and they share a little high five for the new teammates. Later, 76ers are up by 17.
Called him the man of the night.
Right? He was.
Reminded me of Jay-Z. You belong to the city.
Although Joel Embiid had a little something to say about being the man of the night. He had quite the performance as well. The 76ers win 133-102. But Jalen, to you, as you're watching this, if we're calling that the man of the night, what stood out to you the most about James Harden's debut?
A lot of things, Malika. He was flirting with a triple-double. He had 12 assists. The ball was moving. And as Joel Embiid said post-game, this was the most open he's been as an NBA player probably ever. And rightfully so. James Harden is a dynamic offensive weapon. He's been MVP of this league. He's led this league in scoring. He's led this league in assists. Joel Embiid currently leading this league in scoring. It was a perfect storm also for them. Though they had 89 points with those two guys and Maxey, the Wolves were coming off a back-to-back. They had a few times to practice with one another. But I'm happy for Philly. Going to create great theater.
I mean, for me, just I haven't been on the court in so long. It felt like, my body feels great personally. And then just to be around these guys who all have the same, common goal, coaching staff, and just top to bottom winning. And tonight I think defensively we were really good. And that's what led to our offense, being even better.
What was the whole day like for you? Was it
just a normal game day? Just getting my mind right to try to be the best player on the court.
Do you have any routines now that help you kind of get into that?
No, I mean just do whatever it takes, man. Every single day to help my team be the best that we can be.
Joel was talking this morning about how you kind of got this reputation as like this so-called bad teammate, but Joel was like,
why? I don't know why. That's for the media. The media say that. I feel like I'm one of the best teammates that the NBA has seen, on the court and off the court.
That's what I said this morning.
Oh, yeah. See?
yes.
But yeah, I mean, just because the current situations happen, whatever happened, that doesn't mean that I'm a bad teammate. Me personally, I just feel like I needed to do what was best for my career and help myself and be happy. And it doesn't harp on like whether I'm a bad teammate or not.
Sort of to that point, James, do you feel like you have a point to prove here?
Oh yeah, sure.
Do you feel like tonight?
I think we all do.
Do you feel like tonight was a nice
Tonight was a great start. But we got a long way to go. And we'll do whatever it takes every single day to build them great habits so we're prepared when the time is right.
Do you guys, the way Doc has staggered this so far, like generally say you're going to play with Tyrese and you're going to play with Tobias and you're going to split up, do you like the way that rotation is going to go?
Yeah, I mean, however Doc draws it up and sees it, I'm willing to do it. And as long as we can win, it doesn't matter.
What do you think you have to prove?
What?
I mean, you said
we all have something to prove. All right, we got one common goal, and everybody knows what their goal is.
What do you specifically? Do you feel like you have anything specifically to prove?
I've been doing this thing for a very long time. I don't got nothing to prove individually. As a unit, I think we got something to prove.
You practice as a cheater on this group, but being in a game, I imagine it's a little different experience. Just when you're kind of going through those first couple of minutes, can you take us through just what you're trying to see on the floor and when you really start trying to get acclimated with your teammates?
Well, I mean, I know how well Joe's playing right now. So, if anything, I want to make sure he continues that, keep going. And, get him going as much as possible because I know once he gets going, it's going to be the game easier for everybody else. And then me personally, just let the game come to me. I'm very good at that, and I can be a playmaker, I can be a scorer, and just take the shots when I need to.
You talked in your opening press conference about how you were impressed with Tyrese and his athleticism. With his speed, it seems you hit him with a couple passes, he was able to get that ball in the corner and attack. It seems like you guys have been able to already find ways to kind of utilize that.
We're unselfish. We just want to win, and you got guys from top to bottom that feels that way on the court. Great things are going to happen more times than not. So, like I said, my job is to come in and add to each individual player on this team.
Did anything stand out to you about the piece?
Let me just say one thing really quickly. This was probably the greatest NFL playoff we've had in some time, right? when you say they were unreal? Can I get you to focus, please?
Yes, I am.
Okay, stop texting. Am I correct?
I'm very focused.
Am I
I'm
correct?
always focused.
Right? The
yes.
the NFL playoffs were unreal. I am so excited for these NBA playoffs. I think they have an opportunity to surpass that. So with that being said, Stephen A., what is at stake for Harden in Philly now that we're about 6 weeks away from the play-in tournament?
Well, before I answer that question, let me say this. At the start of the season, you will recall, Molly and Perk, that I was on the record saying this had the potential to be the greatest NBA season ever. Yeah. Because you saw the multitude of championship contenders. The only thing that has tarnished it is the unavailability of players. Well, imagine for a second if Ben Simmons had played. Imagine for a second if there was no vaccine mandate that kept Kyrie Irving out of home games and out of the first half of the season entirely. Imagine if Kawhi Leonard were not hurt. Imagine if Kevin Durant hadn't missed the games. Imagine if AD and LeBron James hadn't spent time on the injured list themselves, or at least out due to injury and stuff like that. Just imagine if all of those things had not occurred because we didn't anticipate that they would. And guess what? We'd have an even better season, and the season has already been exceptional as far as I'm concerned. With that being said, let me state this. I think that James Harden's legacy is on the line. And I don't mean that, Perk, as it pertains to specifically this season. But in Philadelphia, James Harden had better damn well help this team get to an NBA Finals, or he will forever be scarred. Because when you consider the greatness of a James Harden, the fact that this brother went 8 straight years averaging no less than 25.5 points per game, that he won 4 or 5 straight years averaging no less than 29 a game, that the brother is a former league MVP that spent 3 consecutive years averaging over 30, 30.4, 36.1, 34.3 during a stretch in Houston, considering his marksmanship, his ability to get to the basket, his just magistry in drawing fouls and things of that nature, being compared as one of the greatest offensive players to have ever played the game of basketball, in line with Kevin Durant, with the Michael Jordans of the world and others. Nobody's saying better, but they were talking about him being in that category as an offensive player. To now go to Philadelphia after forcing your way out of Houston, then Brooklyn, and to have Joel Embiid as your teammate, there is no question, and considering what Daryl Morey gave up to get you, there is no question we take all of that into consideration, along with the overall greatness that we know James Harden to have, particularly with him being in Brooklyn last year and reverting to a true point guard where he's dancing on folks and creating shots for other people and averaging damn near a triple-double and being a top 2 candidate for league MVP honors before he messed up his hamstring later on in the regular season last year. All of those things taken into consideration, for him to go to the team that AI once guided to the NBA Finals with the likes of Eric Snow or Tyrone Hill or Dikembe Mutombo or Aaron McKee or George Lynch and guys like that, for you to be there with Joel Embiid and nothing less than an appearance in the NBA Finals will do.
Well, first of all, Stephen A., I like your jacket. Let me say that. Second of all, let me correct you and Molly for something at the start of the show. The playoffs don't start in 2 months. The playoffs started last night. Because of the play-in tournament, the playoffs are this is the playoffs right now. That's why we're going to see playoff-type basketball, for the simple fact that teams are going to be fighting to get out of the play-in tournament, and teams are going to be competing to get into the play-in tournament. So the playoffs has, in my opinion, has officially started. Okay, that's the first thing. But see, Stephen A., here's the problem that I have, and me and you always disagree when it comes down to finals appearances and championships, right? Championships and finals appearances helps a player legacy, right? It shouldn't tarnish or hurt a player legacy, for the simple fact that it's a team sport. It's a team sport. It's not an individual sport like boxing or golf or tennis. This is a team sport. And I say that to say this, because James Harden could go out there and play his behind off. James Harden could go out there and average 30 points, 15 assists, 8 rebounds, and I mean have a spectacular playoffs. But Tyrese Maxey might not show up. Danny Green might not be able to hit a shot. We can't blame that on James Harden. So this is the problem that I have. Yes, he forced his way out of Houston. Yes, he forced his way out of Brooklyn. Yes, he's trying to put himself in the best position to try to win the championship. But overall, I think if he goes and just be the best version of James Harden, that's all we can ask. Like, you can't be held accountable for what other guys on your team do. Now, if he goes there and he stinks it up, then that's another story. But because this is a team sport, it's hard for me to just put that on him. And when we talk about his legacy and what he's already accomplished individually, because in your eyes, if it had to come down to it, Robert Horry would probably be the best player in the world. Greatest player of all time, because he got so many championships.
Well, first of all, that's real slick on your part, but you know better than that. But good comeback, good try. Good try. I see you've been hanging out with Malika and Shanae, and they put you up to stuff like that, but it's okay. It doesn't work, though. Here's the reality of the situation, Big Perk. As we look, of course, we understand it's a team sport. But we're making the assumption that Joel Embiid is going to be Joel Embiid. We're looking at the roster that he's joining, and we're saying, okay, they can do what they've been doing, but you're the person that's supposed to take them over the hump. That's why you have the Philadelphia 76ers going to the finals, because you're making the assumption that everybody else is going to do what we expect them to do. So what you're looking for from James...